Hello. This is a patch using two facehuggers. It actually started out quite differently, and I'll go back to where it was as well. But basically, what I'm doing is some sort of audio rate sync between the two of them, which I'm using to FM the Infernal Noise Machine. And it's turned into quite a lovely drone, so you can hear a little bit of it. I've got it going through the sound of shadows as well, so I'll take that out, but first I'll just go through the patch and sort of explain what's going on. So I've got the CV out from this facehugger going through into the 1 volt per octave over here. So this one is controlling the pitch of the Infernal Noise Machine. I'm also using the aux expander to take the end of state out, so every time this finishes a cycle, to trigger the clock sync. The clock sync is then going into trigger this facehugger. This one is in trigger mode, so we'll only go once every time we receive a pulse. It'd actually be interesting to put it in run, so I'll do that in a moment as well. We've got then the output of that going into the root of this other facehugger, so that will add together the voltage that this one's putting out to the voltage from this one. So it's just a different sort of, as I'm using it at audio rate to FM here, sort of a different just level of ramp, I guess. So let's just take out the delay, listen to it without that so you can hear it a bit better. And I'll just adjust the sort of length of the sequences as well. I'm also using in this patch the curve from on both of them to sort of control the rate that it travels through the sequence. So let me just slow this down. So you can see it spends longer at the start of the sequence than it spends at the end. So I'm using the sort of exponential rate there. So the original idea of this one was that every few rounds of this sequence would get a sort of trill from this one. So with it like this, we get this sort of nice... so one of the things I really enjoy about the facehugger is these like sequences that aren't, just boop, boop, boop. This ability to sort of have sequences that speed up as they go through. And because it's spending longer on this first note here, we almost like we get through the other sequence before it starts again. And I'm able to do this every couple of cycles using the clock sync, so it just adds this interesting variation to it. So we can obviously do it. We can do it every cycle if we go down to 1 there, or go down to 2, or what have you. But then if we go back up to audio rate, well, I might just switch it to run first. So this is going to keep cycling through, but every time it receives a clock pulse on the trigger, it's going to sort of bring them back into alignment. So let's hear what that sounds like. Little bit of chaos, but let's add the delay back in. So by changing the rate at which it's syncing, we get some really interesting different sort of harmonics and yeah, fascinating. I really love syncing to facehuggers or having audio rate sync between them. I think it sounds wild, so I'll do that for like the next patch or whatever. But yeah, I think this one's really... Actually, why don't we just listen to the audio output of this, not the FM? One sec. So that's now just the audio output. So this is just the out of this facehugger going into the Sound of Shadows. So this is now just audio from the two facehuggers. So what I'm doing there is experimenting with a sort of glitchiness that you get by changing the clock sync, because it's sort of changing how often it's syncing while this is still going. So it's sort of getting like that, and it gives us these really interesting little like boom moments in there, and obviously changing the clock sync rate here changes how often it's re-triggering, so how often it's resyncing. And changing the number of steps there doesn't change the pitch of it, but it changes the sort of number of steps it's going through, so introduces different harmonics as we do that. So there we go. We'll call that the end of this patch for now.